Dave, Kermit, and Marshmallow, Miller, Sam, Bear, chicken liver. He looks like a chicken liver there. Professor Radcliffe and Pete Gunn. It's great to have you. I'm sure that Jim would have been so pleased to know that they had comfort to live. Now, Jim made all of these puppets when he was a teenager, or I guess still while he was a teenager. I think they all made maybe slightly into his 20s, except for Mushmallow, and I made Mushmallow in the 20s. But when we show puppets, we always call them Muppets, and they go out as Jim Henson, under Jim Henson's name, but he had a lot of builders. But these are made by Jim himself, and so that's very important. And all of us guys, we really appreciate all the records that we did. We used to pantomime records, and we had a lot of well-known people to be grateful for. Stan Freberg, we did so many of Stan Freberg's pieces, and Rosemary Clooney did I Grow Accustomed to Your Face, which was our first really popular piece, where Kermit, as a girl, Kermina, was sort of gobbled up by York after he ate his sweet face. So it's really a great delight to see these characters here, and I hope that other Muppets will join them in the future as part of the Smithsonian collection. It's really a great privilege, and thank you very much for wanting our pieces here. And I want to thank my colleagues who have worked very hard, Arthur, Bonnie, and Karen, and Al, for accomplishing this donation. And I hope that you will all get to know these characters in the future through the Smithsonian. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jane, very much, and you'll have a chance to, Jane will be available for comments and questions and photographs following the ceremony, but I would like to, before we close, ask Willard Scott if you have a few words to say about your association with this great enterprise. Willard?
Thank you for the lovely introduction. And I always felt, I think I said this the last time, Jane and I and the Muppets would end up in a museum someday. So it's very appropriate that we're here. I could tell you a million stories, which I won't do because I've learned the lessons of brevity, and I won't spend too much time. But one of the side pleasures, which may have been the primary pleasure, was we grew up together. We were all 18, 19, 20 years old at Channel 4, working at the NBC station. And we would double date, triple date, quadruple date. Every once in a while, Jane and Jim slipped away every single day tonight. I don't know what went on behind that curtain, but everybody smiled when the show was over. Something exciting must have taken place. The only thing that and you'll correct me, I'm sure, Joe Montana just give me a thumbs up or down. But I remember the first show I ever did with you all was a show called Barn Party. Do you remember that, or were you around then?
Not me, that was Jim.
Yeah, well, it was 1953. Television was Saturday morning, and television signed on at 9 o'clock, and they had that test pattern on a roller, and it was, sort of black and white. They'd move it out of the way, and up popped our show, Barn Party, and that's where I first worked with Jim and the Muppets, Saturday morning. We had a wonderful lady called the Story Lady, Betsy Stilt, pretty woman, who wore an evening gown and had a little magic wand, which signaled the cartoon when they could wake up the film guy up in the booth. But we really had a lot of fun. And I was Farmer Willard, and I remember talking specifically, because I remember Sam so well, because I always thought Sam and I were related. But that's just, I just mentioned Barn Party because I doubt if anybody in this room ever heard of Barn Party. It was on for 3 years, and it was a winner because nobody else was on. It was us and overseas radio. But the years that we had together and could go out and have a good time, and grow up. And then to see, and I have to mention Jimmy Dean, because I believe he was the first one that put you all on network television, wasn't he? Or was he before, was Jack Parr the one? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Jimmy Dean had a show on Wednesday night on ABC, and he was a big Muppet fan because he was here in Washington. And I know he loves you all so much. I'm babbling now, but I just love you and love the gang, and the time, as I say, that we had as friends, it was really treasured. And then to see what happened, I mean, you know, people come and they go in television, but mostly go. You know, once you reach 45 and you run out of hair dye, your career's all over. But not the Muppets. They went on and got better and better and better and better. And I love to tell one more story. The union was very strict in those days, our NABED, engineering union. But because he knew exactly what he wanted. What was that car, the little Nash Rambler with beep beep? Remember that? And
His car?
The camera would spin around and make the car look like it was moving, you know. A little Nash Rambler with beep beep. What happened was he was hooked into the bumper of a Cadillac. And everybody thought, my God, look at that Nash Rambler go. Because every time the Cadillac would speed off, the Rambler being hooked to his bumper was trying to pass him. So that was a song that the camera had to spin faster and faster to make the car look like it was moving. The union let Jim operate the camera so that, you know, it would have the proper effect. So he really did, what do you want to say, traveled across many moments of change in television. I love you, and I love you all for here. Wow. That's all. Don't you think that's enough? I say any stories of the Muppets, I know.
Jane, thank you again very, very much. Arthur, Al, Bonnie, Karen. It's just great to have you back. And I think it's important that, you know, we do a lot of serious things in the museum, and actually I think there's a serious message in the story of the Henson legacy as far as the impact on education, and never forget the influence on children all over the world. But it's also important to have some fun, and that's what we are celebrating here today. So thank you all for being here today. I know Jane will be available for photographs and for interviews. This concludes our ceremony. Thank you, Dwight.
That was